Yes, it's a shredder. It's got a switch, it's got a 5-sheet max on it, so what's been put through it, I've no idea. You're not supposed to put your hand in, I think. Oh, goodness knows what that is. And you need to take care. The switch is 3 positions. It's auto, on, off and reverse, so that if it does get stuck you can reverse the bits and pieces out of it. But it gave up the ghost. It didn't want to work, so I had to find out why, because that's the way I am. So here it is, a shredder shredded and put into bits and pieces. These are the wheels that shred the paper up. Over here we have a motor, nice little motor, seems free to return. Got 4 wires to it coming from this little board here. We've got a switch here so that only when the top part is on the collector, this big box at the bottom, will it work. So that switch then, I assume the mains go straight into there, and unless it's on the top, nothing's going to work. Over at this side, underneath this red tape, there's a micro switch, and I assume that's something to do with, if it isn't turning, it switches off. It only comes on and turns. Then will it work? If it stops turning, I think that might stop it. Or it might even be, that's more than likely, it's the off switch. So you put a piece of paper in, it shreds it, and then that turns it off. That'd make more sense. Anyway, why is it in bits? It's in bits because it wouldn't work. Why wouldn't it work? Well, I tore the thing down, and eventually at this end I found that this pinion here wouldn't turn at all. Took the whole thing down and looked at it and couldn't budge that at all. So if we have a little look at the shaft at that end and this pinion, then we can get a good view of it. Probably won't be able to get it in focus, but if I take that off, can I get it in focus? Come on baby, there we are. You can see how badly mauled that end seems to be, or that shaft seems to be. Not at the end, because that seems alright, but this gear then, wherever it is there, was just jammed on and I couldn't pull it off. No way. And no surprising, looking at the quality of that shaft and the way it's all been roughed up. Can't see why that had happened. There just mustn't have been any grease or anything on there, but it certainly is badly grooved. So what to do? Well, this then was fastened on, wouldn't turn, wouldn't move. I needed to remove it. So I went back to my old days and I have a hook puller here. It must be a week or two old, this. Don't remember getting it. Maybe I got it for my scooter, but this is too far. The distance from that end there to the end here was too great to get in behind the gear wheel and this metal plate. So that one wouldn't work. So then I got my small little one that I built some time ago, merely a nut badly welded onto a U-shaped piece of metal with one end cut out. Wasn't cut out enough, so I had to go and widen this end so that it would go onto that shaft, which is about 10mm. I went a bit far with my sawing, but this was no good. It just sort of seemed to bend, and so wasn't any use. So then I went for another one of my old hook pullers. Must be 50-year-old. This, I used to use it on my old Vespa scooter. It's seen better days. It's obviously broken at some stage because it's got a very crude weld that I've done across the end there to weld this bit back on. Tried with that but couldn't get it to work. This wheel is supposed to push up so that the two arms can't splay apart, but that didn't seem to work very well, and I couldn't get the end to stay on the end of the shaft, so I went and I drilled a hole into the end here so that the shaft, can we see that better? Maybe, maybe not. Oops. There's a hole drilled in the end, so that went on to the shaft. Even then I still couldn't get it to pull. These just slipped off. So in the end I put the hub puller on, and then with the hub puller on there, put a G-clamp across the top, and then tightened and tightened. I thought it had beaten me, but I didn't give up, and eventually a little crack and the whole lot fell off because it had moved a small amount. Put it all back, tried again, and eventually it came off. Success. There's nothing like success. I think it gives me more adrenaline than I really need. So now I've got it off, what I need to do is to do something with the shaft. Be nice to take it off and turn it in the lathe, but it's fastened on, riveted on, I think. So that'll be difficult, so I'll just try filing it more around. Make sure there's some grease on it when I put it back together. I'm not too sure if this has a sleeve inside it. If we can find it. Where have you gone? Come here. There we are. I'm not too sure. I can't make out whether it's actually got a sleeve in it or not, or whether that's just the way it's been turned at the end. It's not going to play. There, down there we can see it. I think that might just be a chamfer and not a sleeve. Anyway, it's a brilliant gear. It's lovely. It's really well made. It's really good quality. It's I think it's 9 years since I last repaired this thing, so I don't suppose it owes us anything. It's really battered my nails and dirtied my nails. Got grease everywhere, all over my hands and everything. But yeah, it's beautiful. Be ashamed to skip it, because I reckon to get one of this quality, well, maybe you could, maybe you couldn't. The end of the shaft as well is quite dirty, so well, once I've cleaned it up it should be alright. But the chances of getting it back together again, well, I just wonder if I'll manage to do that and get it working. But hopefully we can. Yeah, really chuffed that I got that off. As I say, it really gets the adrenaline going when something actually works. Well, when I achieve something like getting that off. Right then, so now's time to try and put it all back together, work out what went where, and check that that motor still works after being jammed. I can turn it, so maybe it'll be alright, but there were an awful lot of sparks coming from the commutator before I stripped it down, so we'll have to see. Yeah, enjoyed that. That was a good one. Managed to get somewhere with it, and even if I can't get it going, I know where the fault was. Right then, bye now, bye.